First thing, the 2016 MacBook Pros are going to be noticeably thinner and lighter than the outgoing models. Even the footprint will be smaller. In terms of ports, well, they're Apple and they're pretty aggressive with cutting ports these days, and they're pretty forward thinking, so there's an audio jack and there's 4 USB-C ports. That's it. The 2 USB ports on the left support Thunderbolt 3, and then the other 2 on the right will just be regular USB 3. There's no SD card slot or any kind of display outputs. You will need to rely on adapters for those. So yeah, with Thunderbolt 3, that means the potential for external GPUs, super fast external devices. You can even feed a pair of 4K displays at 60Hz, or if Apple makes a 4K display with a Thunderbolt 3 connection, you can hook up one of those. You can also power these laptops through the Thunderbolt 3 port. This port is awesome. The display resolutions will be the same. For their laptops, Apple always tries to hit a resolution where you're getting around 220 ppi. The most unique feature of the new MacBook Pro is this little OLED screen. It's small, it's just a strip of screen, and they're calling it the Magic Toolbar. It takes the space on the keyboard that used to be occupied by the function keys. So the function keys can still be there if you need them, but Mac OS and third-party applications can put their toolbars onto this little screen. And I mean, you can already imagine the functionality that this could bring. From media player controls to Photoshop tools, I think it's going to be really useful, and at the very least, it's going to look super cool. Now on the right of this OLED strip is a power button. It obviously turns the device on and off, but it's also a fingerprint sensor like iOS devices, so you can wake it from sleep and then log into your account pretty much instantly. Since these laptops are thinner, the keyboards have to use butterfly switches. The typing experience will be very similar, if not identical, to the 12-inch MacBook in terms of keystroke. If you're only familiar with the previous generation of keyboards from Apple, like their older MacBook Airs and Pros, this will take a bit of time to get used to because it only has 1mm of travel, but it is a good keyboard. The trackpad uses Apple's Force Touch, so it's that solid-state trackpad with the Taptic engine, but because it's a bigger trackpad, it gives users a significantly bigger surface area for any kind of multi-touch gesture. But the cool part is that you can draw on it with the Apple Pencil. This trackpad is about 40% bigger than previous trackpads, so you can essentially use it like a small Wacom art tablet. There are speakers flanking the keyboard on both the left and the right. The 15-inch MacBook Pros have always had these stereo speakers, but for the 2016 models, even the 13-inch MacBook Pros will have this placement. Also, on the inside, the new MacBook Pros are going to be running Skylake chips. These are the 6th generation chips from Intel, not the newest Kaby Lake, but they still deliver really solid performance. This diagram has a single fan. This is for the 13-inch MacBook Pro. The 15-inch MacBook Pro will have 2 fans because they have faster quad-core CPUs. In terms of video cards, still no NVIDIA. They're going with AMD Polaris chips. As for which card specifically, but if you're a Final Cut user, you're gonna love this thing. The RAM is going to be soldered on as usual, not upgradable. My guess is that 16 gigs is what we're going to get at the top end. 32 gigs would be roomier and more comfortable, but the reality is very few people can make use of 32 gigs of RAM. For the drives, with current Samsung NVMe's pushing ridiculously fast speeds, I think these drives will be just as fast. My guess, 3,000, maybe 3,500 megabytes per second read, 2,000 write. They're going to be pretty awesome. Battery life will be about the same as the previous generation. They'll claim 9 to 10 hours, but expect 7 or 8. Still really impressive. It's a thinner design, so there's less real estate on the inside for the battery cells, but Apple just has some of the best power optimization in the game.